Hello, hello, hello. It's your boy, Idiot Ezra. This is Idiot Sports Talk. And I know if you're just coming into the show, I do gotta apologize. It's a Wednesday night, 9 p.m. We usually do the Red Zone Blitz on Wake Up It's Football's YouTube channel. We didn't get to do a show last week because I was busy with the holidays. And this week, David Ratisi, the man, the creator of Wake Up It's Football, is busy this week with his holidays. He's got family in town. And that's the reason why the Red Zone Blitz is not happening for 2 weeks straight. There's no turmoil, okay? There's no fighting. No one's fired on the Red Zone Blitz. So don't worry, guys. 2016, there will be the Red Zone Blitz, and it will continue. The legend will continue. And you're wondering, Ezra, okay, you can see the fantasy football on top of here right there. You got the belt. You're showing off. I had this belt last year. I won this belt. Obviously, I'm going to get into the Eagles and all that stuff. I won this in one of my fantasy leagues last year. And I'm not really showing it off, but I'm kind of am. And the reason why is I have to give a shout out to Rodrigo. He's in my boys, I call him Mod God, Mark's league, and he won this year's belt. So I got to give up the belt. This is his now. But until I give it to him, until I strap it around his waist, it's in my possession. So I'm just holding it on for a little bit. And I just want to show everybody the sweet belt that I'm going to lose. Well, I did lose. And here you go. You've probably seen this advertised everywhere. Fantasy football. If you ever were wondering to buy this for your league, this is no sponsorship. I ain't getting paid. We paid for this belt. So I didn't get this for free. But it is a solid and sweet belt. I wish my camera and my lighting was good right now so you could see how shiny this thing is. And it's pretty. It's got a good weight to it. And I think it's about $100 or $150. Really cool. So we passed down the belt to each champion. I was the first champion in Mark's new league. And I just want to give a shout out to Rodrigo. He won this year's. Out of the 3 leagues that were in this year, Mark's, a dynasty league I was in, and my personal own league, CJN, two out of the 3, I missed the playoffs. I came in last place in my own league. But it may be an excuse. I didn't do that draft, okay? That was, auto draft because I was somewhere, had a couple drinks, and my phone didn't connect to the internet. So that's the reason why I came in last place there. But, you want to get on me, get on me. What's up, Gavin? I just had to pop up the chat now that I got rid of the fantasy championship belt. In the other league, I came in, 7th or 8th place. Just missed the playoffs. In this league, where I was the defending champ, I didn't get to go in the playoffs and defend myself. In a dynasty league, I made it to the finals. That is my big money league. It's a sweet league. I did a video on it earlier this year. It's called Route 40 Football, where they had this fake national writers talking about our teams. They gave us custom logos. Really had a blast. First year doing dynasty. And obviously in Dynasty, you keep all your players, and you're more like a GM, and it's all year-round fantasy football. So I'm going to have a rookie draft, which I'm going to run. I do have a general manager, and I have a head coach. But I'm going to run the rookie draft. I'm going to stream that here. But I know it's 5 minutes into the video, and you're here. You want to hear. You want to talk. Eagles, Chip Kelly. Maybe about Peyton Manning is the new backup of the Broncos. And that's another reason why I brought up the belt. I lost the belt. Just like Chip Kelly has lost his job with the Eagles. And we're wondering. You're wondering. Was it the right move? Were you happy about it? Or are you sad about it? Upset about it? Everyone knows PED, right? Everyone knows him. The famous Eagles fan. Eat, what is it? Eat that pussy. Is it EDP? Yeah, eat that EDP. You know, you've seen his crazy videos and all that stuff. I follow him on Twitter. He's ecstatic. He was jumping up in joy. And I'm just wondering, like, what is going on with the Eagles? To me, this was bad timing. Not that I think, you know, Chip Kelly's this all-time, because there's some people out there that believe Chip Kelly is one of the great coaches, great coaching minds out there. I have a great friend of mine named Joel Rodriguez. You know, he's done a couple videos here with me. Truly believes in his abilities. And if you want to go someone with that's in the broadcasting world, very well known, what about the Herd? You've heard of Colin Cowherd, and he is a big fan. He's got him up there probably in his top 5 of head coaches in the NFL. He's a huge believer in him. Okay, if you don't believe in he's a great head coach, why would you give him personnel power? Okay? Why would you give him personnel power? And then after 1 year, after he makes some changes to fit his mold, to fit his vision, and get rid of him? I've always stated, if you watch my videos before, I do not believe in off-season champions. I do not believe in too many pieces moving in one off-season to translate in that first year. Chip Kelly made a lot of big moves. He lost a lot of leadership. He lost a lot of explosiveness. Obviously, it's his fault. But that doesn't translate in the first year. Chip Kelly had to learn that the hard way. This is not college. That you can just replenish players, this many players in 1 year, and it translates on the field immediately. It's very rare. You know, there's exceptions to the rule. I say this every time you see these teams make big turnovers on the roster or involving a lot of big-time players, a lot of leaders, it's not going to translate the first year. It's just not going to happen. You went 10-6 the first 2 years. You made these big moves, and it bit you in the ass in the first year. But I expected that. How did ownership not expect that? And I believe ownership, Jeffrey Leary, fired Chip Kelly, the general manager, more than the head coach. I read somewhere he went up to Chip and said, hey, how about you give us back the personnel? We want to take this away from you. Chip balked at it and said, I'm not with that. You gave me the power. I want to mold this team. I want to go forward with my team. You sure you want that? You sure you want that, Chip? Of course, being stubborn, being hard-headed, he wanted it. And Jeff said, well, you're not going to get it with the Eagles anymore. My thing is, if you're going to give someone the power to make the dinner, you're going to let them pick all the recipes. You got to give them time to cook it, right? You got to give them time, to really cook it. I don't understand 1 year just not translate to success with such a high turnover of the roster. I don't believe he deserved to get fired after 1 year getting the personnel. Was it a mistake probably giving him the personnel? Yeah, I think so. It's your own fault, which Jeff Leary kind of admitted in his press conference, saying, oh, well, it was a risk. No, of course it's a risk for giving him that much power in the first place. But if you got to be confident enough to give him at least 2 years. At least 2 years to show you some results. And you know what's surprising is Jeff Leary's not the kind of guy to just fire guys left and right. Because, Andy Reid was there for over 10 years. And he had some seasons that were, not horrible, but they were mediocre. And they let him rock. And what also makes me think they fired Chip Kelly, the GM, they also got rid of his top personnel guy, his right-hand man. Those are the only two that I heard they got fired. Only two I read so far. That's the only thing I heard Adam Schefter's mouth or everybody else mouth, Jay Glazer, etc. These two got fired. I haven't heard anybody else. They fired the personnel guys. That's what they did. They probably wanted to keep Chip Kelly as the coach. I believe that a lot too, because I think he is a good coach. Do I think he's a top 5 and he's, this gifted genius? I don't know about all that. But I think he is a good coach. Is just personnel, general manager, all the power went to his head. He wanted it, which I don't blame him. Don't you guys, if you're running a team, your fantasy team, or whatever kind of thing that you're leading that's in your control, don't you want to have full control? Don't you want to pick your... Like you're playing Call of Duty. You want to pick your gun, right? You want to pick your perks, right? You want, everybody wants control. Everybody wants control. But I'm not going to, if I put you on my COD team, I'm not going to kick you out of one game. One game, I got to get you, give you a couple games in there. I think one season was far too quick as general manager, Chip Kelly, and head coach. But like I said, ownership is to blame at the top right now, because you should never gave Chip Kelly that much power in the first place. And if you did, you should have gave him more time. Now, depending who you hire, okay, they're going to want their own makeup, their own type of players going forward. So I don't know if there's going to be another huge change of the roster. You don't want that, because like I said, year one usually does not go well. Just look at this past off season. All right, who had big off seasons? Who had big off seasons? How many of them are going to the playoffs? The Jaguars had a big off season. A lot of people don't know that, but they changed over a lot of their, personnel, missing the playoffs. Dolphins missing the playoffs. They traded for a guy, Sue, new tight end, missing the playoffs. That's what I'm talking about, the Dolphins right there. Whoever had big off seasons usually don't transfer. The Jets, they had a big off season, but half of the guys they brought back were former Jet players. Darrelle Reeves, Cromartie, Jet players. The Jets are a little exception, which I'm happy about. I'm a Jets fan, as you guys know, and I'm happy that worked out for us. We're not in the playoffs yet, but that worked out. Now, Jax wants to know, what do you think about the players Chip chose? I like the moves that Chip did, okay? But if you really think about it, the players that he did bring in, Maxwell, inconsistent season. DeMarco Murray, atrocious season compared to what he had with the Cowboys, and it seems like he did not fit their system at all. Ryan Matthews had a good, solid season as their backup running back, and it looks like he should have been the starter from the jump. Kiki Alonso, what was he, injured again? So the guys that he did bring in, the big names, did not produce. So once again, the general manager, Chip Kelly, the players that he brought in, the big names, did not produce for him. He traded for Sam Bradford, another guy that was inconsistent this season. Okay? You let go of Deshaun Jackson. You made Jordan Matthews. You let go of Deshaun Jackson. You let go of Jeremy Maclin. Jordan Matthews does not look like a number one wide receiver right now. The guys that he asked to step up or replace just didn't get it done. Just didn't get it done. So, but I like the players. Kiki Alonso is a good player when he's actually healthy. Maxwell is a good cornerback. He's not a number one shutdown guy. I don't know why people were expecting that. DeMarco Murray just had a bad year, man. That offensive line and his style, hitting the perimeter did not look very good. He is a north-south guy who's going to make one cut and get you a lot of big yards. And they just didn't put him in the right situations and the right schemes for his type of style. And that's what happened to Chip Kelly. And maybe this is the word Jeff Leary from the Eagles owner used in his press conference. Trajectory. That's the reason why they let him trajectory. That means they were heading down in his eyes. And he said, before we go down even further, let's cut our losses. I feel like they did it too early. But am I going to belittle them? Am I going to crush the Eagles for letting Chip Kelly go right now? I'm not going to go that far. I think it was wrong. But I don't think it was devastating. I don't think this puts the Eagles back. I think Mike Hill, he's a Fox Sports anchor, said this is going to bring him back years. I don't think it's that serious. I don't think it's going to bring him back, years, especially in the NFC East where it doesn't look like anybody's, a powerhouse unless the Cowboys, get healthy and that defense shores up a little bit more. That's the only team that I'm really scared of going forward, but teams are getting better. So I don't think they're down for years. I disagree with that. I don't think it's that terrible of a move, but I do disagree with it. Hopefully they release Matthews, go to Green Bay. That's what Jack's, of course, like I said, Ryan Matthews, he had a solid year. Over there. So, yeah, I think you would like that. But I don't think he's going to change the dynamic of Green Bay. And this headset made me itchy right here. Oh, my God. You also think the Dolphins were overrated and Tannehill or whatever is going to take them it's not going to take them anywhere. Dude, it's not. First of all, they had atrocious, sir. Terrible coaching with Joe Philbin. And it was their first year of a big offseason. First years, I do not like. I think they have a lot of talent. I think they can make a quick turnaround into next year. And I'm still a believer in Tannehill, even though I had him on my fantasy team. That's how high I was on him. On my dynasty fantasy team, I thought this guy was going to solidify himself as a top 10 QB this year. He has the pieces, etc. But Philbin and everything else, I was high on him, and he had a very, very bad season. But most of the Dolphins, their offensive line was bad. His wide receivers, I know they had that bright spot. Or Landry, he had a very nice year, over 100 catches. But, come on. I would love to see Hugh Jackson as the Dolphins head coach. I would love to see that. I think he'll make a quick turnaround over there, and this team will have better chemistry and, like I said, better coaching going forward. I like the Dolphins going into next year. I like them this year. I thought they were going to finish second in the division, but I'm going to stick with them heading into next year, I think, depending on who their coach is and what changes they make. Hopefully not too many if you're a Dolphins fan. I think so. That's my opinion. And speaking about changes, the Broncos, I need to click this. Make Peyton Manning their backup quarterback this Sunday. All right, perhaps for the first time since he's arrived at the University of Tennessee, Peyton Manning will suit up for a football game, and he will be the team's backup quarterback. Let's see. Are they bringing him? What I haven't read, I just came from work. Are they keeping him out because of health concern, or is he just the backup going forward? Say Peyton will be part of practice today, and we'll go back to work for football this week. Kubiak said this Wednesday afternoon. I'm encouraged by that. We had a good last week, blah, 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 blah. If everything goes well, I have no reason to think it should not go well this week. Then he would be the backup to Brock in this game. Okay, but that doesn't say anything. I don't think Brock is the guy you run with in the playoffs. If Peyton Manning is healthy, I want him trying to lead this team in the playoffs. It's plain and simple. Their running game is still inconsistent. They haven't got it all together. Brock hasn't, provided that spark, like, oh man, this guy, he deserves this starting position. Wasn't it 3 straight games that the Broncos failed to score in the second half of games? That doesn't seem like lighting it up to me. That doesn't seem like that will be getting it done in the playoffs. That doesn't seem like spit out a lot of confidence. I don't know. I don't believe that's the right way to go about it. Okay? They're, how many... Look, I'm looking at their points. They scored 12 points against the Raiders, 17 against the Chargers, 20 against the Bengals, 27 against the Steelers. But they're 31st in the league in pass defense. The Steelers. Like I said, even when Peyton Manning did play and he was hurt and he played like crap, and I know he still leads the league in interceptions. When there were times in the fourth quarter when they needed points, when they needed to win the game in overtime, Peyton Manning still found a way to get it done. He still found a way to get it done. His smarts alone, his grit, his experience alone won those early games, early part of the year. Obviously, their defense is leading them, but you still need to put points on the board. And when he needed to, or when his team needed him in those final 2 minutes, those final 3 minutes, those final 4 minutes, Peyton Manning came through. He was dinking and dunking, and then boom. There you go, Demarius. Boom, Sanders. Boom, touchdown. 10 seconds to go, Broncos win. He still gets it done. And I feel like being the most mentally and, tough season for Peyton Manning, and this team playing on edge, saying, well, you know what, this defense is like, we got to keep this team under 20 points to win, and they're more physical this year. I just like the mentality when this team plays with Peyton Manning. And let's be serious, this running game is not there. Like I just said a few minutes ago, it's not there. You need a threat. You tell me defenses still don't respect Peyton Manning? You don't think defensive coordinators respect Peyton Manning? Especially, it came out that he was hurt. Maybe that's why he didn't have, much drive in the ball. We know he's never had the greatest arm. We knew he's never had a rocket. But it was really bad early part of the year. So, I don't know. I like Peyton Manning going into the playoffs. I think he's the right way to go. So I don't know if this weekend is just to give him rest for the playoffs. If it's him really being the backup quarterback for the rest of the year, Gary Kubiak made his second mistake this year with his quarterback. First one was changing the offense totally. You know what I'm saying? I know he left a little something for Peyton Manning, but this, let Peyton Manning run with the system he's got. But that falls on John Elway because, Gary Kubiak is going to bring in a certain system in, and he's going to want to, run it. And that's understandable. But, if you got Peyton Manning, come on, let him run his own thing. At least 70% of the time. And number 2, keeping Brock as your starter into the playoffs. I think that would be a terrible mistake. But, I do a show on YouTube. I know nothing. The Steelers, what the fuck? They are probably out the playoffs. I know the division rival shit goes out the window, but damn, getting swept by the Ravens? To me, heading into the year, the Ravens were Super Bowl contenders, going to the Super Bowl in the AFC. All right, I had the Broncos representing in my prediction, which I'm not going to back off from. Do I think the Broncos are the best? No, I do not think they're the best team in the AFC now. But I'm sticking with that prediction. The Steelers, their defense, like I said, their pass defense is ranked 31st. What was it, 5-6 games without Ben Roethlisberger. And the Ravens, look at their scores throughout the year. They played mostly 95% of their teams and games were tough games. Okay? What was it? They set the NFL record for 11 straight games were decided 8 points or less. It was something ridiculous like that. The Ravens have been playing in tough games all year long. I know they have 18 people on the IR. I understand that. 18 people on the IR. Their quarterback, their number one wide receiver, their number one defensive leader and Suggs, etc. Decimated with injuries. All the way down at the bottom. And they've been playing teams tough all year long. 2 bad losses I see in their record. You know, all losses are bad, but you know what I mean. They lost to the Seahawks 35-6, Chiefs 34-14. All right? But if you look at their 19, obviously most of these are losses. 19-13, 37-33, 28-24, 23-20, which they won. They beat the Steelers. 33-30, 25-20, 26-18. Do you hear how close these scores are? 29-26, 22-20, 16-13, 33-27, 15-13. All tight games. All tight games. So I don't think it's that surprising that the Ravens swept the Steelers. I think it's more surprising they're 5-10. With all their injuries, they should not be 5-10 with all their injuries. And they should not play teams that hard and giving teams that much trouble with all those injuries. I've said it a million times. I'm going to say it a million and one times. If Bill Belichick was excluded from the conversation, John Harbaugh is the best coach in the NFL. Is the best coach in the NFL, John Harbaugh. My favorite is Bruce Arians. That's my favorite head coach. John Harbaugh is the best head coach in the NFL, not named Bill Belichick. That man knows what he's doing. He gets his team rocking, socking, and blocking for his guys. He said, yeah, but after all the injuries, like I said, I get division rivals. Anything can happen. But they had a tight window. Yeah. But come on, like I said, 6 games without Big Ben. So, the Steelers' record, they're 9-6. 6 games without Big Ben. Michael Vick is your backup quarterback. Landry Jones. Come on. The Steelers shouldn't even be 9-6, right? Big Ben, though. Is it third best quarterback in the league? No debate. No debate. Big Ben, third best quarterback in the league, right? You got Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Big Ben. That's it. And some people might argue Big Ben might be the second best quarterback in the league. But no debate, Big Ben's number 3. That offense is, oh man. Scary when Big Ben is on point. And they're missing, what am I saying? Haven't they lost Le'Veon Bell for how many games? Did Le'Veon Bell play what? They missed him for 10 games or something, Le'Veon Bell? They're 9-6. I don't understand the uproar. The only thing I think I would get on the Steelers is that pass defense. That's what I would get on the Steelers for. Mike Tomlin, you're a cover 2 guy, even though I know you change up your system for your personnel. Should be good against the pass. And they haven't at all. I need to invest a little bit more in that secondary. That's what they need to do. But my point is, I think Steeler fans should be happy considering the key injuries they've had this season, that they're 9-6. That's what I think. And I'm not, and maybe I'm happy because If it wasn't for them losing, my Jets would not be in control of their playoff destiny. So thank you for my Jets, Jets. I don't know why I did all that head movement. Make no sense there. Black Mama said Bill is smarter than everyone. Patriots fan, of course. Didn't I just say excluding Bill Belichick? And a lot of people got on Bill Belichick and the Patriots for, kicking the ball in overtime, saying the Patriots lost that game on purpose because, they want to avoid the Steelers. That made no... I don't want to be so forward, but get off the dick. Get off your fucking knees. And I don't want to hear that bullshit. I don't want to hear it. Why even go into overtime if you're trying to lose the game? Makes no sense. Hold on one second. I got my friend texting me he's downstairs. Well, I'm doing a show. I told you this. I told you I'm doing a show. And you wanted to... You know what I'm saying? I don't understand. I got to text my roommate to go open the door. Open the door. Man, people are paying the ass. Oh, I tell you something and you don't listen. Black Mamba was saying our offense was struggling. I thought we would have kicked as well. We locked down your defense, your offense in the fourth quarter. Yeah, the Jets weren't exploding, in the second half. Thank you, Black Mamba. I can't believe we're actually agreeing on something. I'm agreeing with something with a Patriots fan here. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Sometimes coaches kick in overtime. This is not unheard of. This is not in the realm of the Lord of the Rings. This is not Golem, okay? This is not Frodo with the ring trying to save the universe. It wasn't that serious of a decision. Is it unusual? Yeah. Unusual. Okay. Donuts with sprinkles is a little unusual. Cheesecake with sprinkles is unusual, but that's okay. It's sweet. It's football. Got no problem with that. Kicking the ball, and you want to claim they were trying to lose on purpose because they want to avoid the Steelers. Bill Belichick is not afraid of anybody. The Patriots are not afraid of anybody in the league. So to hear crap like that is an absolute joke. And why are you texting me, calling me when I said I was doing a show at 9 o'clock? You don't have these guys' numbers out there?
I did, but
You did, but you calling me. Fucking jackass. Wow. Unbelievable.
You're still doing it? You started at 9?
Man, I wish David was here to talk about the Packers. Besides the offensive line of the Packers, which has been one of the worst in the NFL this year. Matter of fact, when Aaron Rodgers won the Super Bowl, they had a pretty bad offensive line then, too. How about the play calling, which Mike McCarthy now runs? I know your running game has not been there all year. It's been inconsistent. We don't know what happened to Eddie Lacy. Speaking about donuts, maybe he had a little too many in the offseason. But, why don't you be more consistent and more dedicated to the run? You got to keep these defenses honest because they're just 8 sacks this past week, 12 hits on Aaron Rodgers. You don't want him for the playoffs. You don't want It seems like you don't want Aaron Rodgers for the playoffs. You're trying to get him hurt. You're trying to get him hurt. I don't want. How about this week versus the Vikings? You guarantee your running backs 35 carries. I don't care what their average is. I don't care if they're getting 2 yards a pop. Just run the ball. Save Aaron Rodgers' body. Save that arm. Because if you got any chance to win in the playoffs is with Aaron Rodgers right there gunning it. They have to give their running backs at least 35 touches going forward. You have to. You're telling the defense what you're going to do. They know the game plan. And you don't have the structure to do and run your game plan. You want to pass it 50 times? Guess what? Your offensive linemen do not want to pass 50 times. They're not capable of throwing the ball 50 times. They're just not able to protect your guy. And the receivers, Jeebus, need to get separation. Black Mama said no creative play calling. I think Mike McCarthy is a fantastic play caller. I think he is creative with his play calling. When he's got everything, when he's got just, when he's got the offensive line going, he's got the running game, he's got this defenses honest. That's when you mix it up. But if the defense knows what you're gonna do, there's no such thing as creative play calling. Okay? It does no such thing because you're one-dimensional. You're making the team one-dimensional. So let me draw up a blitz. Let me draw a 4-man rush gets to Aaron Rodgers with ease. The two foundations in football, and the most important foundations in football, is your offensive and defensive line. Okay? Besides quarterback, the most important position in the sport, the next two that you must focus on in your drafts is offensive and defensive line. Those two other things can set your team apart from the others. If I had an expansion team tomorrow and there's no franchise quarterback there, I want to build the offensive and defensive line. The Packers don't have an offensive line right now. How many times has Aaron Rodgers been sacked this year? 50. I would take a wild guess. I'm going to say 55 at this point. 55. I'm going to try to see if I can look it up right now. Let me see. Let me see Aaron Rodgers. Let's go to statistics. Okay, okay. 41 times he's been sacked. He still only has 7 interceptions. And Aaron Rodgers is very mobile, very smart. He's great in the pocket. Aaron Rodgers is great in the pocket. Excuse me, I had to go in there. I had to go deep in there, right? Itchy. No boogers, I promise. I'm trying to see how many times he's been hit. I don't see it here. I would love to see how many times he's been hit. Doesn't say. It sucks, but 41 sacks. So that means he's been hit. I don't know. Double that, right? I think any number of sacks, you always got to double. You always got to double the hits. It feels like. That's what it feels like. You always got to double the hits. So I'm gonna say about 80 times he's been hit. It's a lot of hits, man. He's taking a lot of punishment. A lot of punishment. I think that's what they need to do is dedicate themselves more to the running game. Rex Ryan to return in 2016 as head coach of the Buffalo Bills. Okay. Johnny Manziel's being evaluated for possible concussion. Here, such. Whoa. Okay, Tom Coughlin. Let me repeat that. More likely to be fired by Giants than not. I still think he's good enough to coach. I still think he's good enough to win. I still think he's good enough to win another Super Bowl in this league. And I still think he's the right guy for 2016 for the New York Giants. I've said it plenty of times. The Giants do not have that great of a personnel to be having these huge expectations. Why? Who do they have on the defensive side of the ball? Their secondary is nice, but linebackers, defensive line besides JPP, where's the personnel there? Offensively, their offensive line still needs some work there. You got some no-name tight ends, some patchwork tight ends. And you had injury. And wide receiver, Victor Cruz hasn't been there all year. Ruben Randall's been inconsistent. Odell Beckham Jr., superstar. Eli Manning, top 6, top 7 quarterback in this league. Running back game, inconsistent. So, I think Tom Coughlin needs more talent on the Giants. That's what I think. I still think he can get it done. Let's enlarge this a little bit more. What do you think about Jeff Fisher? Jeff Fisher, if he's fired, I won't be, defending him. But I'll tell you one thing. He has built a foundation over there, right? He has drafted some guys over there. He has developed some guys in St. Louis. He just can't find that quarterback. He can't develop that quarterback, which is important. Maybe there's a guy out there that he should have drafted a couple years ago. He's worked with a similar type of mobility, limitations when it comes to passing wise, and he developed nicely and did a couple good things with him. Maybe he needs Robert Griffin III in St. Louis. If he gets one more year, I think he'll be like, please, can I get Robert Griffin? Please. Please, baby. Let me get Robert Griffin. You could probably get Robert Griffin right now. 4th or 5th rounder, right? I think going forward, the Redskins going to be, signing Kirk Cousins to a new contract or franchising him. Kirk Cousins is your guy for 2016. I'm not saying he's the guy for the next 5 years. For 2016, especially the last couple weeks, Kirk Cousins has been playing. He's been lighting it up, especially the last 2-3 weeks. He has gotten better with the season. I think Robert Griffin can be half or 4th or 5th rounder. But Jeff Fisher, Todd Gurley, Aaron Donald, was it Robert Quinn? He's developed some guys over there. He's bringing some very nice talent, some Pro Bowl guys into that mix. He just hasn't put it all together. Imagine that. All those picks Washington gave up and the Rams get RG3. If you're asking me, do I believe Jeff Fisher should be fired? Man, it doesn't bother me if he gets fired. I would understand why they would fire him. You had this talent the last couple years, and you're not even coming close to winning the division. You're not even coming close. Are you ownership and saying, man, this division isn't as tough, though? You got the Seahawks who've been to 2 straight Super Bowls. You got the Cardinals who are, exploded on the scene the last couple years. Do you give him a pass on that? I don't know if you think like that. But if he does come back, he's got 1 year to make the playoffs. It's just plain and simple. And you know what? Sometimes I believe in longevity. Just because you keep losing doesn't mean you can't be successful down the line. Look at Marvin Lewis. Hasn't Marvin Lewis taught us anything? Even though they haven't won a Super Bowl or have won a playoff game. But the Bengals have developed consistency winning the last couple years because they stuck to the same program, the same, methods of drafting, scouting, and has led them to success compared to their history. Maybe you want to do that. Maybe some organizations can't believe I'm saying this. I'm probably the only person that actually is going to say this. Maybe some organizations need to take some pages from the Bengals playbook on running a franchise. Some. I'm not saying the Bengals are the cream of the crop. No, I'm not saying that at all. But they sure have had some success the last couple years, a bunch of talent, and teams need to respect the Bengals and bring their A game against the Bengals. Maybe some teams and they say, we're going to stick to our head coach and let him keep running his program, and he's going to get this through. Maybe the Rams should do that with Jeff Fisher. Maybe. I don't know. Okay. The Rams should trade for A.J. McCarron. Aaron Donald, best defensive tackle in the NFL. It depends what you're looking for. I don't think I will call him the best. Sue is still playing football, last time I remembered. So, I know Sue hasn't had the most, productive year, but the man gets double team every single play, it seems like. Kellen Moore, he's a backup quarterback, man. Kellen Moore, I don't know, man. We shouldn't have to have any thoughts on him. Because has he been why should we have any thoughts on him? He needs time to grow and more. He showed some signs, especially the second half. Was it versus not the Jets? Maybe it was the Jets. He showed that he had a nice second half. I think it was against the Jets, even though he threw 3 interceptions that game. But Tony Romo is your guy next year. You really don't have to worry about more, okay? Has he solidified that backup role? I don't know if you want to go with him as your backup heading into next year either. Because I imagine the Cowboys will still have high expectations, a lot of talent. You want probably more of a veteran presence just in case Tony Romo goes down. Just in case. I thought they should never got rid of Brandon Weeden. I thought they gave up on him way too quick, and then they bring in this scrub, Matt Castle, like he was going to be the difference maker. Brandon Weeden should have never left the Cowboys. I said it from day one. Bad move. Why are you getting rid of him for Matt Castle? Are you serious? I thought that was a terrible move. But more, you don't have to worry about him. He's just, come on. If you want him to run with as your backup next year, I guess I'm fine with that. He showed some things, and he's got another offseason to develop more and more. But is he the future of the Cowboys? If you think that's your question, absolutely not. You do not go thinking this is your guy going years down the road. No, you better draft someone else. you better give Moore some competition. More competition. Pun intended. If someone's out there in the draft, you take that person. I don't think he's the future. If they trade for anyone, and if they let them develop this dude, they could take the Rams somewhere. Zach Meckerberger, or whatever his name is. You want the Rams to trade for... First of all, Jeff Fisher does not need someone to develop. He needs someone to come in there and start lighting it up. Okay? Not even lighting up. He needs someone in there to be, a threat. Be average. He hasn't had at least an average quarterback with the Rams. He needs, a Ryan Fitzpatrick. At least that. He doesn't need someone to be developed, man. He needs someone that's can really help him get 10 games. Be, like I said, be the balance of, because Todd Gurley's probably going to be the focus if Jeff Fisher is the head coach next year, or the offense. But you want to keep the defense honest with a quarterback that can make some plays when they have a running game. So, if you want to, like I said, RG3. I like the RG3 thing, even though I'm not a big fan of his. If you watch the Red Zone Blitz before, if you watch any of my videos, I am not a fan of RG3. I predicted he would be out of Washington as their starter. And what, year 4, I said? Watch the Red Zone Blitz if you don't believe me. People that watch the Red Zone Blitz will let you know I am not a fan of RG3, and I thought he would be out. But maybe him sitting down and, being humbled, understanding, this is not given to me. I got to earn this. Maybe it will change his way. Maybe it will change his work ethic. Maybe make him realize you ain't that good. Work on your fucking game. Work on your accuracy. Work on your presence in the pocket. You had a nice rookie year. You threw for what? Fucking 15, 16 touchdowns, and people were slobbing your knob. Yeah, you're a nice little rookie season. That's all you had, son. That's all you had. One, like Jay-Z would say, you need more people. And in this case, you need more seasons for me to jump on your bandwagon. Now, I wasn't in there chilling with you in that bandwagon off of one rookie okay season. But I think the Rams focus the running game, strong defense, got some weapons out there. The Rams got some weapons on the outside. I think Kenny Britt's no scrub. I don't think he's a scrub. Austin, that man could fly. I think RG3 will be nice. Tavon. Oh, you brought up Tavon Austin. Man. Okay, Titans have looked like crap since Peter. The Titans have looked like crap all year. Once again, not a fan of Mariota, but before the season went on, he showed me some things this year. Gave that man tons of credit for proving me wrong. He could have a bright future in this league. He needs the support of his organizations. It's plain and simple. You got to give him another weapon in there. You got to give him more than one weapon. You got to develop an offensive line. You got to give him another wide receiver. You got to give him a consistent running game. You got no running game over there in Tennessee. And you got to get the right coach that can mold this guy and develop an offense around his skill set. I think the Titans made the right choice for themselves, but now you have to continue making the right choices. It's not only for him to have a great future. It's not only up to him. It's up to the organization to support him. Or you're gonna have yourself another David Carr. You guys remember David Carr, right? First overall pick with the Texans, man, he had talent. He never had a chance. Never had a chance because they just didn't develop the team around him. A quarterback can't do it all. Really can't. Tom Brady, all-time great, the Zeus of quarterbacks, has had the same system since day one, has had very solid offensive lines, and he's had some weapons throughout his career. He's had the support throughout his career. You need support. You need support. It's not up to Mariota totally going forward. The Texans need to help that man. They need to help him. They need to help the kid. Is Delaney Walker locked in on the Titans? I freaking love him on the Packers. Isn't Delaney Walker like 35 though? I know he's had a nice year. He's had a nice year. But he's 31 years old, and tight end years, he's 35. He's 31. But they would lock him in. Yeah, I guess you would lock him in because, Mariota was very fond of him, and he was their number one target. But is he going to, he can't be your foundation going forward, right? He can't be the number one guy for the next 3-4 years for Mariota, right? I wouldn't think so. You just need more help over there in Tennessee. You need more help over there. But Walker's had a very, very nice year. I had him in one of my fantasy teams. Yes, I did. Okay, what else over here? Let me see any more football news I can get on. Des Bryant has been placed on injured reserve. Will undergo surgery on his foot and ankle. Damn, he's had a terrible year, man. In a sense, like with injuries. That sucks for him. Steve Smith announces he will play in 2016. I guess he didn't want to end his career like that. Good for Steve Smith. One of my favorite wide receivers to watch. I think this guy would have been he'll still probably make it to the Hall of Fame, but I think he would have been a surefire Hall of Famer if he actually played with good quarterbacks throughout his career. Think about the numbers Steve Smith has put up in his career and with what quarterbacks he's worked with. This man has close to 14,000 receiving yards, 961 receptions with what was his name? Jake Delhomme, Vinny Testaverde. like what's going on? Love Steve Smith. I'm happy he's coming back. Who is your number one? Oh, who's my number one draft prospect drafted to my favorite team? I am a Jets fan, and I have no idea about draft prospects because I haven't looked into it at all because I don't watch too much college football, to be honest. I'm going to be honest with you, Peter. I'm not going to give you a name because I don't watch college football. But if you're asking me what I want the Jets, I'll try to answer the question in a different way. I want the Jets to pick up probably an offensive lineman. You know what? Because our offensive lineman, which they had a good year this year, very good year this year, I want them to get younger and build around that going forward. If not, maybe, outside pass rusher. I think we need another outside pass rusher. I'll probably have that higher than an offensive lineman. Those two are probably 1 and 1A. Outside linebacker for my Jets. Because Calvin Pace has been in the league for 14 years, something ridiculous. We're gonna need a stud out there. I would love to pick up a stud that could be our consistent, sack master. Even though we've been on a roll the last, I don't even know how many, since week 8, we've been smacking dudes. I think we lead the league in sacks since week 8. So we've been doing pretty well without that stud outside linebacker, but it'll be even more dangerous if we pick one up and actually develop him and he's successful. Not the last, Quentin Coples already got cut. Vernon Ghoston was exactly that, a ghost. And that's about it. How about my boy Manziel? Manziel, you better hope, the Cleveland Browns hire a new coach, which I heard they're not, and they cut him and he goes to another team. So he can get that support. They need to fire their general manager also. How about a tight end? I don't think they've had a great tight end that I remember. In Chan Gailey's offense, tight ends are non-existent. I think this year, Jets tight ends have a total of something like 11 catches. They just don't target the tight end. It's not like, we do have a young tight end. He's just injured for the year. We drafted him last year. What's his name? Jake Amaro or something like that. I think that's the first name is Jake Amaro. He's a very good catch passing tight end. Very good receiving tight end. But in this offense, they don't really target them too much. So I'm worried about him a little bit next year. Let me see. Let me look at my tight ends. I see Jeff Cumberland, who's the backup tight end, who's been the starter for most of the year, has 5 receptions. Yeah, I do like him. I think he's, like I said, he's a very good, receiving tight end. I do like Amaro. So I just don't know if he fits in this offense. I don't know. Maybe we'll trade him to the Packers since for some reason you really want a tight end. But the Packers don't do trades too much like that. But yeah, outside linebacker because why I just stated. Ray Farmer is gone. Is that official? That's not official yet, right? He's got to be gone though. Let's see. He can't be gone yet. He's not gone yet, right? Let's see something here. 15 hours ago. Okay, they're expected to fire him. 4 seasons to keep Ray Farmer, 4 seasons to let him go. Wow. Wow. A writer on ESPN is giving you 4 reasons to keep him. And 4 reasons to let him go. Wow. Let's see. I'm a Buckeyes fan, and what are your thoughts on Devin Smith? He had a very bad rookie year. But I think that has something to do with he broke his ribs in training camp, so he didn't really develop, especially if you're a deep target. If you're a deep target, you need to develop that chemistry with your quarterback. And when he did work in training camp, he worked with Geno Smith more than Ryan Fitzpatrick. So he hurt his ribs, and he didn't come back until, I think, week 4 or week 6, and he just didn't have that chemistry with Ryan Fitzpatrick. And when he was going down for deep, it just didn't work out. They just didn't have it there. Am I ready to give up on Devin Smith? No, I do not want to think like that, and I'm not ready to do that. It's a young guy who missed reps, missed time with his starting quarterback, and just couldn't get it going. We'll just chalk it up as a bad season, and hopefully he develops, and, hopefully he'll hook up with Ryan Fitzpatrick in the offseason and develop it all. Do I have change for $5? Why do you need change for $5? You playing dice out there? That's illegal. I'm just letting you know that in the streets of New York, that's illegal. I think there's over there. You see singles over. You see them dollar bills? They're over there. Yeah. Well,
I'm leaving soon.
My friends are here, guys. He's yelling at me right now. I did 66 minutes. I want to thank Peter, Jam. I want to thank Gavin, who came in earlier, Black Mamba, for, you know, a little support, a little conversation, a little fun.
You got $1 over there?
I was hoping for something big, seeing Decker and Marshall aren't getting deep threats, and would have been given that for them. Yeah, I think Smith is going to going forward over. Do I have $1 over there?
Over there.
No, I don't have $1. I just said my singles over next to you.
4 up here.
I don't know what to tell you, bro. You want quarters? I give you 4 quarters.
I'm a day late and $1 short.
Man, I hope I'll see you guys. I want to do more videos like this, but talking basketball, football, and other sports and UFC, and, you know, having one-on-one with you guys will be good going forward. And I'm coming out with a non-sports podcast coming soon when this motherfucker next to me over here, you can't see, finally.
Don't tell them non-sports, because I like sports.
Well, it's going to be mostly a non-sports podcast.
But we will talk about sports.
A little bit. It's a dash of sports. He wants to talk a dash of sports.
Dash.
Just a dash. A little sprinkle. Where's Shayna? She's with her boyfriend. She's got a boyfriend now, right? Fucking women. Wanna be in relationships and have that special bond with someone. I can't. Who does that? This was 2015. Who wants special bonds with a special person? It's not 2016 yet. And speaking of that, Happy New Year's, guys. I'll see you next year. Oh, don't be sad, bro. Don't be sad. I'm not gonna call him Felicia. These gentlemen.
I need $1, Ezra.
So go strip if you need $1. This guy won't let me cut off here.
$1 made me holla.
Happy New Year's, guys. I hope a blessed, healthy, fantastic, and I gotta hit the gym, right? Oh my God. I gotta hit the gym. I'll talk to you guys later. Let me see. Where do I stop this broadcast? Right here.